morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of 10 at 10. This month, we're going to be profiling a few of my favorite entrepreneurs so they can share with you, their passions, their insight, the learning that happens, the fears, maybe. Today, we'll have Michelle DeWolf. She'll be sharing with us, and I'm excited. So get ready to be inspired. Let's go. Good morning, everyone. Paula Mattisonsierra, host of 10 at 10. And today I have with me Michelle DeWolf. She's going to be on the show today sharing. Michelle is a national board certified health and wellness coach, hormone health certification, dietary supplement specialist, and author. You didn't even tell me about this, Michelle. Reboot You, a guide to your best health and wellness. Um, Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to it. It's always a pleasure to see you.
It's like there's always a lot of energy when we're with each other.
Yeah.
I love your insights on food. I love what you do, period. But let's bring everyone up to speed and tell them about Michelle DeWolf and a bit about your business, and maybe what inspired you to start this business as well.
Oh, those are a lot of things. I've been an entrepreneur for a long, long time. I had a marketing agency for years, so I appreciate all the great work that you do. And but this was at the heart of my passion. This was nutrition and helping people, and really working one on one with people is the passion that I wanted to follow. And so back in the day, I was teaching cooking classes. I have a pre-professional culinary certification, and I was teaching cooking classes to kids and adults, and really the heart of it was getting more fruits and vegetables on their plate. And so that morphed into grew a whole business, the Festive Table, and I ran that for years and years here in my home with my kids as sous chefs, and it was tons of fun. But to answer the questions my culinary clients were
Yeah.
asking, I wanted to put some structure around nutrition, and started working on to become a registered dietitian. But I wanted to be here. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always built my own businesses, and I wanted to be here helping people far before they got into a hospital setting, needing a registered dietitian to work on a low sodium diet, say. So I worked on my certification, and in the very beginning, and this is what inspires me to do this work, a friend of mine reached out in 2017, and her husband was struggling with stage 4 colon cancer.
Um,
And they asked if there was anything I could do to help. And while I can't cure cancer, I knew that I wanted to make him more comfortable. So I made a cruciferous veggie soup that
Sounds
has
delicious.
it's like broccoli and cauliflower and those kinds of things, because we needed to nourish the liver,
Mm.
and I needed to get hydration in. And this man was curled up on the sofa, incoherent, with about a week to live, and they had given up. And I asked them to give him this, an eighth of a cup around the clock, to get that in. Within 24 hours, that man was up off the couch. I didn't know how this would go, right? Within 48 hours, he was in the kitchen trying to cook for himself. And he had the best last 6 months anyone could ever have hoped for.
Yeah.
And the thing that gets me out of bed, that inspires me to do this work and build this business, is that if hydration and nutrition can do that much for that sick of a body, what can it do for all of us
Mm.
as healthy people out in the world?
Well, the reason why I wanted to have you on the show was because both of us in our referral groups, we're around so many entrepreneurs, and
Mhm.
I just see them burning themselves, running like a million miles an hour, no sleep, no hydration, no proper food, just whatever, and not realizing all that hard work is for naught if you're not feeling well and you end up being really, really sick,
Right.
And so definitely I wanted to have you on the show because it's not just about building a business, but also to hear about, um, you know, what you see, what we can do as well.
Right.
Let
Right.
me ask you a question. as you're, because I know you've been through a few businesses at this point. What was the biggest fear that you had when starting, like any of the business? I don't know if it was the first or every time you started one, but what was the biggest fear?
Oh, you asked the hard questions. So I thought of it. I've been asked this before, and the thing, and it's hard for me to admit it, is the biggest fear for me is my fear of success.
Yeah,
It's not fear of failure because I've done that, and you fail at things and you pick yourself back up, but it's really fear of really succeeding to the level that my imagination can take me and my
mm,
desire for my business.
yeah, yeah. I think we all have that one. In fact, I was speaking to another entrepreneur yesterday, and we
Uh-huh.
had the same exact conversation.
Really.
It's a real thing, it's sometimes I feel like I need to just stop and just start making a list. That's what someone else had recommended that to me. Just stop and start making a list of the things that you've actually done, because we're running
Right.
so hard again as entrepreneurs. We're succeeding, because everyone's having success of some sort, but
Yeah.
we're not looking at that. We're looking always forward.
Right.
And so it's
Right.
always this idea of, if I'm successful, what do I do?
Right, right, and how hard am I gonna have to work, and what does that mean? And it's at the heart of the work I do too. As a nutrition coach, we all beat ourselves up. So as business people, we're beating ourselves up about, the metrics we didn't meet and the click rate we didn't get and all of these different things, but look at all you have done. Look at how many clients you have brought in. Look at the
Exactly.
successes you've had. Look at the failures that you've had and how you bootstrapped yourself out of that.
Yeah.
But and so as a coach, then and as a marketing person, like you can spend that time saying, all right, look, I can see the big picture. I can see all of your successes and I can see the roadmap. And you can be, we're going to focus on those good things. And then we're going to talk about what's the next best step to bring
Mhm.
you closer to those goals and that success that you want. Because it's human nature to focus on everything we have not done,
Let me
sadly.
ask you a question. One of the things that just kind of popped into my head is really, even for you as a health coach,
Hmm.
because folks are not used to, I mean, you're teaching them a whole way of taking care of themselves and their life and everything.
Right.
Um, and sometimes aren't you seeing the same things on that side as well?
100%.
Almost a sabotaging nature of, I've given you the answer, but now you're not doing it. It's like they're sabotaging themselves. I mean, are
Right.
you
Right.
seeing the same things?
100%. I see that's the reason that a coach is helpful
Mm,
because I'm reminding them, and it's a huge part of my work, is I'm reminding them every week that we meet. I'm reminding them of all of the progress that they've made. So we all know that feeling because working with me is not about watching that number on the scale. And sadly, for a lot of, especially women, but men too, when we step on the scale and it's not going in the direction we want, or we feel like we've been working hard and it goes up, then we beat ourselves up and then throw out the baby with the bathwater and say, well, forget it. It's not working. I'm not going to do it anymore. But
mm,
it's my job then to look and say, okay, maybe it went up a little bit, but look, you're running a business. You had a huge trade show. You worked 60 hours last week. You managed to get the kids to school, or you managed to support your wife in doing the things she was doing, and on and on and on. And of course, you traveled and you ate in a way that was not
yeah.
productive for you. So what are we going to do next? And how are we going to keep moving forward? So
Yes.
it's fascinating work. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything you're sharing is just tentacling into just even how we run our businesses as well.
Hmm.
You're going to have that spike, but sometimes there's a lull, and that's okay.
Right.
You know what you might have done or should have done, could have done, you know. So actually, this one rolls right into, what obstacles did you face when launching your business, and this business in particular?
Well, this business in particular, I think obstacles I've faced because I've run businesses before. It was difficult. It's difficult to look at that. I think the biggest obstacles, I launched in 2017. It was in person, and in building up a clientele so that I could afford office space comfortably was that challenge. Like, at what point do I pull the trigger and say, okay, I'm committing to this space. And at what point do I continue doing it out of my home or meeting them at coffee shops? And so that was a challenge for me. And then 2020 hit, and I pivoted my entire business to online. And it's been amazing because now I work with people easily all over the country, and nobody has to commute. Nobody has to waste that time. They pop in, they do their 50 minutes, and they're out.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was an interesting hurdle that went away.
Well, I mean, it's the comfort level that we were forced. But really, as I said it, I'm about to say it out loud. We only make big proper changes when we're forced to, aren't we? I
That's
mean,
so
when
true.
we go through like some kind of trauma, COVID,
Yep.
and realize that the technology was already, I mean, the
I
stuff has been sitting there.
I know. And I was nervous to do it. So I thought, oh, I'm fine. I'll just keep meeting people in person. I was looking at office space, and I love this Zoom thing.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's fantastic.
yeah.
And clients do that too. And it's frustrating for me. So I as a business person can take some lessons from that. Because if you break your arm and
Mhm.
it's hanging off, you're going to go to the doctor. But there's
Totally.
things on the inside that are broken. Your blood work might be kind of inching in a direction that we need to look at. You might be having some digestive distress that comes and goes. It's no big deal. And so we don't go to the doctor. We don't necessarily check our bone health, get a DEXA scan, and do those things at a certain age because it's not broken.
Yeah.
And so it's about prevention. So the same thing could be said about business, right? Zoom was there, I could have done that beforehand, and people were asking me to. I was like, no, no, it's fine. Just going along my merry business. And then COVID hit. And I was like, well, now I have to
Have to
learn
do
this
it.
new thing, right? I got to
Yeah.
do it. I've got to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, because one of the things that you kind of said without saying it, but starting your business now, of course, you've done it a couple of times, so there was a little bit more of a comfort. There were
Mhm,
different challenges.
mhm.
What's the difference from when you first started, like those challenge, those fears, to like now? Like, what was that learning in between there? You know?
Well, so knowing in starting my first business, I was really hung up on, okay, I got to have all my ducks in a row. I've got to have the accountant, I've got to have my lawyer, I've got to have all of these things, a business plan, I've got to have all of these, my marketing plan till the end of time. I've got to have all of these things in cement, ready to roll before I can start my business. And now I know you just get started. You
It's
just get started. It's going to change. Everything's going to pivot anyway. You have experts around you that you can reach out to, but there's no perfect time. So that hurdle in the beginning, I didn't have that at all. And really, it was about educating myself in the field and in coaching. So that was about gaining knowledge. But the business side, I just thought, I've got to jump in. And then it changed. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to have this kind of program. I'm going to do this kind of marketing. And then it shifted. And I thought, oh, wait, people want to hear about this. And I don't necessarily have to have one niche till the end of time that I figure out today.
exactly.
And it was fascinating because it really gave me a lot more freedom to
Yeah.
experiment
Yeah.
and confidence.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I'm hearing the willingness to change and evolve with the environment as
Mhm.
well needs to be part of the character of a business owner, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
For sure. They're
yeah,
like children. A business is like a child, and you may imagine that this child is gonna grow up to do XYZ and be this way, or you imagine the teenage years, and it's gonna be wildly different
yeah.
than possibly than you think.
It's like sometimes you got to let the 20-year-old business out of diapers, and you're holding on too hard. You got to
That's
back up a
true.
little bit.
That's true, and I see bigger businesses that do that too. It's
No.
interesting to watch, and they're stuck in their ways of, "This is how it has to be done,"
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it
It's like I
doesn't.
have to do it all by myself. I can't.
Yeah.
Um, what how about building a team? Because in order to grow a business and become more efficient, you have to bring folks in. How do you go about building a team of like-minded people who understand your brand? Because it's not just about the oh yeah, their resume looks fantastic, but they may lack the understanding of what you're doing, right? So
Right.
that's why I wanted to add that word like-minded. They
Yeah.
understand the brand. What
It,
advice do you give folks around it? I know it's an evolving thing for all entrepreneurs, but what's your take on
That's a tricky one because it's about interviewing them and finding out who they are as people and what their philosophy is and what they think, especially in my business. If you're building a widget, then you can have someone who has the expertise on the widget, and I think that that's important. But then really understanding and being connecting with you on a personal level as well as business philosophy.
that?
And the people that work for me, I mean, the ones that did not have a passion for nutrition and wellness and the ideas around it and getting excited about it were not as fruitful. And the partnerships that I've built with people, I'm very careful that they are going to be incredible partners that will follow up when they say they do, are who they say they are, that we're not fooling around. Like they're professional and understand and appreciate the personal side of the business as well, in addition to having that background and experience.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
Well, and continuing on the thought line of building a great team, to me, customers are part of that as well. So, how do you go about attracting your clients? Like, can you share any sales strategies? Because I feel like that's one of the things that business owners are also very scared of. Even though we're in such a big networking circle, you and
Mhm.
I'll hear people say things like, well, that's why I network because I really don't like sales. I'm
Well,
like,
and
okay.
networking is a kind of sales. I think we're always selling. We're always selling, and if we're passionate about it and we're authentic and real, it's not sales. You imagine that kind of smarmy car salesman of
Mhm.
back in the day, right? And it's not that. It's you as an entrepreneur, and I believe this in our networking group, that as an entrepreneur, you have something to offer. It is your obligation to give people information so they can get what they need, whether you're selling insurance or cars or something that can change people's lives in the way that nutrition or psychology or whatever it might be. Your obligation is to get really clear on what you offer so that people can get the help that they need. And
Mhm.
so that's not sales to me. That's about being really passionate about what you do and believing that this thing, whether it's a widget or a service or whatever it might be, is valuable and important to the people that are out there. They need you.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know if that answered your question,
No,
but
no, completely. No, absolutely. I think maybe we need to change that word sales because people are so
Mhm.
locked into
It
that
makes them
e-car
uncomfortable.
salesman model, right? It's like,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
sales to me has evolved past that for so long now to
Yeah,
more of a problem solver. So maybe
yeah.
we should start calling it the problem solver position. We're
I
hiring
like
to be
that.
problem solvers.
I like that.
I mean, it's the sales thing has gotten such a bad rap that it's
It
almost so dirty now.
It does, and I think of it as when you think about the business development role versus an executive salesperson. Like business development to me sounds so much better because you're building and developing your business and you're giving what your clients need to them. And then the strategy is the vehicles you use to do that, whether it's social media or articles or blogs or whatever it is that you're using to do that. You're giving information and education so that you can develop your business to serve and help more people because it's about what you're giving,
Yeah.
not and sales feels like what you're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Looking at, go figure, looking at the client's needs first. Okay, so I think as we're going live, we lost Michelle for some reason. So we're just gonna wait for her to come back in. Um, yeah, I know that she was having a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue before. So actually, the one of the questions that I wanted to ask Michelle was around. There she goes. She's back. She's coming right in. There you go. Because this is a live show and stuff like that happens. The advice that I wanted to ask from her was about around learning, because I find that a lot of every now and again I'll hear people say, I just don't have time to learn anything else that's new. And as a business owner myself, one of the things that I say to that is, you're crazy. You need to put some time on your schedule to learn something new. Okay, we're going to try this again. Michelle's back. Let's see if we're going to get her in. And
Hello.
Wi-Fi is stable,
I
you
know.
know.
I don't know. It just went away. So sorry.
That's quite okay.
But the
Like I said,
continued learning. I could
exactly.
hear it.
Oh, you could.
I
Oh,
could.
that's
Some of it I could hear.
technology, it's like, so what would you say to someone who says, I don't have time to learn anything new. I just don't have the, or business owners in particular. I
Business
don't
owners
have
in
time to learn
particular, it's
anything
it's a
new.
part of your job description. It's
Yeah.
part of your job description to stay up on your industry and to stay on top of what your clients' needs are and what they need. So it's vitally important to me. I mean, I'm continually learning because
Oh, wait, didn't you just graduate last night?
I did. So it was on, yeah, it was a week ago, my gut health certification. It was a 7-month long certification. So I just finished that, which was, yay. It
Uh,
was
big one.
fascinating stuff. And I loved it. And then I just signed up for another course on, it's called Helping Women's Hearts. And it's about integrative women's health and our cardiac care.
Nice.
And it's wildly important so that I can continue to serve my clients well and be as educated as I can about trends and changes and the industry. All of our industries are
Yep,
changing all the time,
yep,
and now at lightning speed. So if we're not learning and growing, then we're just stagnating and possibly
totally.
going backwards. It's
No.
part of your job description, and it has to be. Mine is scheduled in, so I just put it in my calendar and I've
Yeah,
got time to do that.
yeah.
And it absolutely has to happen.
Listen, I have it on twice on my calendar for the day. Like when I get up in the morning after I
Mhm.
meditate, I'm reading for 30 minutes. So I'm like,
Nice.
you can do something like that for 30 minutes, you know
That's
what I
right.
mean? And then I have time plotted in again during dinner. So like, after I eat dinner, if I'm having a glass of wine or a cup of tea or whatever, I can
Yep,
just sit there with my book and just read a little something, you know what I mean? So,
that's
but
right.
I know at least in the morning I get 30 minutes.
That's
In the
great.
evening, I know I might have more time if the
Yeah.
chapter is really engaging, I can keep going, but at least I know I got 30 minutes in,
Yeah, that's
if
brilliant.
words have to sort,
I
but
love that.
schedule it in. I think we're both on the same page. Schedule it in,
Schedule it in
you know?
on the calendar like an appointment that you would like the doctor.
Yeah,
It's in there, you do it, and you're always staying up on it. Then you can follow up on the podcast you wanted to watch. You can
absolutely,
follow up on the blog post that someone sent you about a relevant point that you've been meeting about at work. It's
absolutely.
but it has to be in there. Or 3 months will go by and you think, "Wait a minute. What happened with that guy who did the research on the thing that I needed to look into?"
Or even worse, it's like you bought like a million books
Yeah,
or audiobooks on Amazon or whatever,
right.
and they're all stockpiled and but you did a great job at purchasing them.
I know.
That's it,
Good
like
job. You're
bravo.
smarter just for purchasing it. It's like osmosis. Maybe if we just slept with them under our pillow.
I know, it would just absorb into your
Yeah,
brain. It's like, who knows, with AI, we're developing and changing. There's a
there
lot
you
happening.
go.
That might be the next step. Just absorb it in. But I feel like even with absorption, you're still gonna have to commit to the action of doing what you learned. I heard a great saying where someone said it's not enough to just read a book.
Mhm,
It's like, yeah, stuff,
mhm.
but knowing and doing it are two different things.
Yep,
Applying it
yep.
is a whole different thing.
And that
And so I'm going to throw that out there to folks as well. But as we're wrapping, I mean, we're at the 20, we're 6 minutes to the show ending.
mhm.
It was very effortless.
I know I
But
could do this all day with you.
it's something, and me, you as well. And by the way, actually no, we have met in face to face a long time ago. We haven't done anything recent. We need to
Mhm.
do a walk on the beach and
Oh,
talk
I
or
would love
something.
that.
You know, tell me, with this journey from first business to now,
Mhm.
what great advice can you impart onto folks either just starting, but also sometimes people are in the trenches and they've been there for a while. So this is that advice is something I think everyone can probably
I
take and use.
I think we need, well, I know that we need partnerships in a way that keep us going. So when I started my first business and I had an agency, I thought that that meant I needed a full actual partnership, that I had to bring somebody on in the business and share in the the profits of the business and that kind of thing. I thought it had to be a partner, that I couldn't do it by myself. And I quickly realized that that's not the case at all, that we can all do this. We're doing this, we're passionate about it, but you've got to have like an accountability partner or a network group or a friend. It can be whoever that person is. That's the person person or people that you can lean on when things get tough. When you get
Yes.
a lot of no's, when doors are closing, when you're not feeling inspired, you've got to be able to reach out and remember why you started and have them help remind you, like we talked about earlier, of all the great things that you are doing.
You make the list. Make the list, people.
Yep, you
Make
make
the
those
list.
lists and you make sure that you know all the things, focus on the things that you are doing, the gratitude you have for what this business has brought to you and your clients, but it's hard to do it by yourself. It's lonely
Absolutely.
at the top, as they say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
people at the top, whether you're a one person business or you've got thousands of employees, you have got to have a person or people that remind you and pull you back up when doors are closing and it's not feeling easy.
I love that you said that, by the way, because I think folks don't realize that your employees aren't necessarily your friends.
Right.
I mean,
They
the
can be
friendships,
lovely people.
yeah, they could be lovely people, but
Mhm.
they're relying on you for stability
Yep.
and for their paycheck and the things to just work. They don't want to be in chaos.
Right.
They're relying on you to be the foundation, that stabilizer.
Yeah.
And so you want to find others to speak to, I mean,
Right.
I do like every Friday, me and Rachel, hey Rachel,
Hi, Rachel.
yes, 30 minutes, we do a check-in, and it's not like a finger pointing, like, did you do it's like, how's your week going? How did your goals go? It's like, I slipped off
Exactly.
on this. But wait a second, what did like to kind of pull each other back?
That's
Like,
right.
what wins did you have? Oh, I did this and this. Like, so you're looking at that, but not at this. It's like that
Exactly.
reminder. It's like, it's been a wonderful partnership
Mhm.
just to have that person. And we're not even in the same industry because you don't have to be
No, you
in the same
absolutely don't
industry,
have to be, but someone
you
you
know?
can rely
Yeah.
upon who's gonna remember all the good stuff too.
Absolutely. That's a great reminder, Michelle.
Mhm.
And we're surrounded by great people. So why not,
Right.
Yeah.
And you can do this. I mean, you can do this. People can do this, and that's the thing I didn't know my first time around. I just questioned and thought about it, and maybe women do it more so than men, but I as a broad sweeping generalization, but I questioned and I wondered.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. And I thought, but I work with a lot of men, and I find that they have, they've got a lot of the similar questions, and I find that I didn't think I was supposed to be able to do it all by myself. But you're never all by yourself. You've got, you're building a team, but you've got to have that accountability and that partner and support.
And I'm gonna throw out networking too, because I did
Mhm.
not discover structured networking until business at the end of business number 3. And I stumbled upon it, or I was dragged, I was coaxed. I was lied to. Because if they had said 7 a.m., I would have probably said, "Yeah,
Right.
no," you
Yep.
know?
Same. I was in the same 7:30, and I thought you're insane, but
See, oh, they told you right
they
out? No,
told
my
me right
friend,
out
she
7:30,
said
and I thought
7. "Oh, we meet at 7." I'm like, "Oh, 7." My
PM.
brain went to PM,
I know, I know,
like, you know?
I know, but
But
one of the best things I've ever done is doing that network group every week at 7:30.
absolutely.
It's worth
I actually, I like the weekly accountability, I have to say. I mean, I'm in another networking group. I like the monthly as well,
it. True.
but the resiliency, that push, that stamina of a weekly,
Yep.
it keeps me engaged. It keeps me being able to stand up and deliver
Yeah, me
every
too.
week,
Me too.
and proper networkers who are all over the place networking, you see them all over the place. So
Yep.
even though I'm in two separate groups, I'm seeing a lot of the same people,
Yep.
because you start realizing, you quickly realize the people that you should probably reach out to.
That's right. That's right.
Simple as that.
I know that's
Um,
why you and I are here.
Absolutely supporting each other,
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
listen, folks, we're gonna round up and close of the show right now. But Michelle, if someone wants to reach out to you, by the way, and get, because my ears picked up gut health, and I know there's a whole plethora of information about that, and probably a ton of other things to keep our business owners moving forward in a healthy manner.
Right.
Um, how can they stay in touch with you?
So the best is at my website. It's Michelle DeWolf. It's Michelle with two L's, dewolf.com. And there's a pop-up that'll happen, and there's a newsletter you should absolutely sign up for. It's robust, filled with information. It's not me selling myself. It's a lot of great information that I'm giving out to you all for free. And then everyone is allowed, you can sign up for a free consultation to just sit
Yes,
down, and you get a full 45 minutes
I
to
love
just
that.
chat with me and see about how health coaching works and if it makes sense for you. And then we can talk programs. And anybody that comes to me and uses your name, Paula, is going to get a 20% discount off my
There you go.
coaching programs. Because if you know
Guys, heard it
Paula,
here. It's like that's the beauty of coming to the end of the
that's
video.
right. 20%, baby.
So listen, you got to reach out to Michelle. Please go to her website, sign up for the newsletter. Their food is such a simple thing, folks.
Mhm.
Yes, you got to go work out. That's important.
Yep.
But the food is a major part of it. It's your medicine
Yep.
for every day moving your business forward. And I know from hearing the conversations, because I know you've heard it too, Michelle, your brain health
Right.
it's tied into the food that you put in your body and how you take care of everything. So please reach out to Michelle. Oh, by the way, if you need marketing, I'm doing a little plug for myself. Whatever, don't judge
Yeah,
me.
you should.
Not judge me, people.
She's
Don't.
amazing.
Reach out
Amazing.
to me for marketing. Once the body temple is taken care of, you're moving, you have energy. Let me help you grow that business. Our continued mission statement is to introduce you to what I call everyday experts like Michelle, and other business owners to just up level you and keep you moving forward. And I offer you marketing tips as well. Check out the tip from last week about protecting your website. By the way, we
Nice.
air every Thursday at 10 a.m. live, not pre-recorded, live on LinkedIn. Michelle, why don't you go ahead and close out the show with a sagent message
Oh,
from your side, ma'am?
well, you talked about a little bit already in that food and our health, and it adds to our mental clarity and that kind of thing, because we're running our businesses and we're going a million miles an hour. But at the end of the day, we can eat all the broccoli in the land and have a healthy plate. But if the rest of your life is out of balance, then how healthy and well are you? And by extension, how healthy and well is your business going to be long term if you're not feeling good?
Absolutely. Wise words, everyone. Listen, thank you for watching the show today. Please share, tell folks about Michelle. Thank you so much for supporting us. And Michelle, thank you so much as well.
Thank you
And
for having me.
oh, absolutely. I was so excited that you said yes. And for viewers, please keep moving forward. Thank you so much. Take care and have an amazing rest of the day.
Thank
Bye.
you.